artists along the Golden Road experience the Northwest through its art and the artists who live here. Northwest artists are passionate about art, and Golden Road Arts extends their passion through education. We're on an arts mission, introducing children to art.
Hi, this is Barbara Mason. Welcome to Golden Road Arts. You can see I still have my mask on because not everybody's been vaccinated. I fortunately got my vaccination already, but a lot of people haven't. And so until we know that everybody's vaccinated, we're going to be really, really careful with our mask. But I'm going to take it off now so that I can talk to you a little easier while we're doing our visit today. So we're going to talk about an artist today named Monet. His first name was Claude, and he was a French artist, and he was born in 1840. So how long ago do you think 1840 was? Let's see, 1840 to 1940, that's 100 years. It's not 2040 yet, but that's 180 years. He's 180 years ago that he was born. So when Claude was young, he wanted to be an artist. His mother was very supportive, but his father didn't think he should be an artist. He thought, how can an artist make a living? Which we know now that artists can make a living, but at the time he didn't think that it would be a good choice for his son. And so they sent him to a regular school where he was learning other things. And about the time he was ready to get out of school, he had actually had a nervous breakdown. He was so upset about the fact that he was going to have to be a clerk rather than an artist that he just felt terrible. And so his father relented and he said, okay, we'll let you go to art school. So he went to art school. And it's a good thing he did because we consider Claude Monet the founder of modern art. So one of the things that Claude Monet was really, really interested in, he was really interested in light. He was interested in the way light, if you put two colors together, what happened? If you put another color together instead, what happened? And so one of the things that he did as a painter is he painted the same exact image over and over again, different times of the day. So each time he painted it, the light was a little different. And instead of just painting it all in a big swish, he would use some little pieces of color, so one next to the other. And if you put a light color next to a dark color or a warm color next to a cool color, it would change how things looked and it would vibrate. And one of the things that he was very famous for is he did a lot of paintings of haystacks and a lot of paintings of water lilies. He had a couple of children, and later on in his life, of course, he became very famous and people started to buy his work. And he moved to the town of Giverny in France, and there were beautiful gardens there, which he expanded on during his life. And he painted a lot of water lilies. And I'm in Portland, Oregon, close to Portland, Oregon, in Hillsboro. And at our museum in Portland, we actually have one of Monet's water lilies. So you could actually go to the Portland Art Museum and you could actually see this painting in person, because he did a lot of these water lily paintings, but they're very famous. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple of paintings that are his water lilies. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to do some painting with a sponge. I always like painting with a sponge. It's so much more fun than painting with a brush. So this is poster paint. Just going to shake it up a little bit. So these are Dick Blick poster paints, but you could use any kind of paint. We use this because, we haven't even used this one. It's not even open yet. Oh my gosh. How could that have happened? We'll just poke this thing out. It's got a little piece of, I guess it's over here, a little piece of foam on the top of it. Okay. So I can't believe we haven't used green yet, but I guess we haven't. So you can imagine what water lilies would look like. You think of water, well, right away you're thinking of blue and green. We'll get a little more, a little blue and green. And okay, this one's open. Let me just shake it up a little bit. So you always want to shake your paint up a little bit before you open it, not after you open it, or you'll be wearing it. And so you think of what colors they would be. Would they blue, green, maybe a little bit of yellow? We'll put a little bit of yellow in here. Oh, I forgot to shake that one up. Maybe we'll use a little bit of white. Maybe a little bit of purple. Oh, and here's a different blue. So when Claude Monet was first painting, he had people that thought his work was just crazy, and they weren't too excited about it. But as he continued to paint in his lifetime, people started to really like his work, and they really thought it was amazing. When he was young, he did a lot of charcoal sketches, and amazingly enough, his father was really surprised at this, he was able to sell them. And so he sold a lot of charcoal sketches. Okay, we got our blue. We probably need some purple here. If you were going to do water lilies, you probably want some purple. Okay, so now we're going to make our background for our water lily painting. And so we're going to use these sponges. I'm going to get this sponge just a little bit wet. And so I think I'll kind of start at the top and work down. So I'm thinking there's probably trees at the top. You know, there is a website that you can go on if you want to. See how fun that is? Look at how easy that is to paint with a sponge. So I'm thinking there's lots of trees that are kind of hanging down here behind Monet's garden. And you can go on the web. There's a website called Foundation-Monet. And that is all the gardens at Giverny, France, where Monet spent the last maybe 20 years of his life with his family. And he started to really sell his work well when he got to Giverny. And so money wasn't such an issue for him. And so he started, let's make some of these darker, we'll put a little blue in it. So he started really being able to expand the gardens because he had quite a bit of money. And he laid out for his gardeners exactly what he wanted, how he wanted it to look. And I'll put a little bit of this blue in it, how he wanted it to look. And they've used some of those plans all the way till today. And so a lot of people wanted to see the gardens when Monet was alive, and they would go to France. Did I put the white out? I guess I forgot about the white. They would go to France and go and visit Monet and see his gardens. So this is, we're over 100 years ago. Monet died in 1924. And so they wanted to go to Giverny and see his gardens. And so in 1977, I think it was, his son, who now at this time is pretty old, so his son decided to give the gardens at Giverny to France. And so that they started a foundation called the Monet Foundation. And let's get some white in here for these water lilies, for the water part of this. And so they started a foundation, and now you can go to France if you want to go to Giverny. It's north of Paris, maybe about 100 miles, 150 miles, kind of northwest of Paris. And you can go to Giverny and you can see his gardens with his beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plants. Okay, so now we're doing a little blue to make it look like water. A lot of fun, isn't it? I love painting with a sponge. It's so much fun. A few times in my life I've had to do murals for projects, for different organizations. And if you have to do a great big mural that's, say it's as big as this wall behind me and you have to put a lot of paint on it, one of the easiest ways to get that paint on there is to use a sponge because it's a lot of paint. now we're getting more water here. This is looking pretty good. I'm liking this. So I'm thinking there's probably trees at the top. Kind of hanging over the water. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to let this one dry. And we're going to come back to it in a few minutes.